Okay, so hello everybody. Can you see my presentation?
Yeah,
Yeah, perfect. Hello from my side. I'm Jonas. I'm one of the manager director of Made by Made GmbH. So I will start my presentation with a short introduction. I'm not going to give a company presentation. My goal is today more to share our experience about project approach and project planning, because I guess that many of you in the audience thinking of starting a production, and we want to share what is probably important at the beginning. This is my goal, and I'm happy to discuss this maybe in more detail after my talk or then in the Q&A session. So I'm going to talk about waste to value strategy and using insect technology, project approach, and planning. So as I said, I'm one of the founder. Together with my colleague Kai Hempel, we started our company in 2017. First, we started with a small garage. I'm a manager director, and Kai is the business guy in our team. I'm a biologist, and I work with insects for many, many years. I started with bees and ants, and then moved to grasshopper, cricket, and of course now flies. And for me, the decision was then that I want to use insect and study insects in a different area, in a different task. So I will talk about that a little bit later. So first, short introduction. You can see here part of our production. We are located in East Germany, and first in 2017 we have a small garage, so lab scale. Then we moved to that facility here, started a pilot plant on 400 square meters. So the transformation, and that is probably the first lesson learned, is that it's very crucial to start from a small scale, okay, maybe it's lab scale, from a few kilograms to 100 kilograms. And now we're producing producing several tons per day on 2,500 square meters, where we use the black soldier fly to produce animal feed and protein meal. In a closed system, which means that we have our own reproduction and also the processing in that facility. Yeah, as I said, you can see on the right side the map from Europe, located in Germany. We are close to the city Leipzig, which is also maybe an important information, that it's sometimes beneficial when you are close to a bigger city. Leipzig, around about 500 citizens, helps you to maybe organize your substrate or the input material, because it's a crucial point. Bernd mentioned a lot of important points at the beginning. And when you're close to a city, usually you have access to a lot of organic residues or organic waste due to the feed and food industry. And now I come to the presentation, because it's important for me, when you want to start with insect farming, or maybe with that kind of a project, you should address the question, okay, what is my motivation? And also how to start. And first of all, you should answer the question, what is my wants and what are my needs? So I will talk a little bit now from my personal experience, how I come to that project and how we started that project. So first of all, you can imagine, maybe you can think of, I have an old building, I want to reuse it. And the next experience from when potential customer talks to us, they said, okay, I have a lot of organic waste, I want to use it. I think about it, okay, how we can get rid of this organic waste. And other parts are more interested in the proteins and producing alternative proteins. But all these questions, or all these goals, you can answer in different ways, because old buildings, you can think about vertical farming. For organic waste, you can think of biogas or other technology to get rid of it, also depending always on the amount and also maybe on the quality of that material. And in terms of alternative proteins, we can think about of whatever algae and other production facility to produce alternative protein. So for me, it's very crucial that we first think about your motivation. And for my personal approach was, okay, it was quite clear. Insects are very interesting for me because I worked with insects for many years, and I want to be part of the success because as a biologist, in terms of biology, insects are very successful in terms of biomass. When we just look at the biomass on a global scale, insects have more than 38-40% of the biomass. And we see that they developed, or many insect species developed interesting solutions for many niches. And I think we as a society, we can use this, and we should use this. And this is my motivation where I started this project, and I thought, okay, I want to use that information, I want to use that know-how in a different area. The next interesting part for my personal, my motivation and my needs was, okay, I saw all the global challenges, and you are all familiar with that. So in terms of conventional protein sources, we need more animal proteins in the future and how we can use that. And when people think about insects, they often think about, okay, for our ecosystem, they have this in mind that it's more for the pollinators. And of course, this is a very important function. On the other hand, insects are very important for decomposing. And I call it the beauty of decomposing because insects are very efficient to decompose organic waste. And I thought, okay, we should use that also for our task to use organic waste, to use organic material. And in this short sequence of that video, you see that with this the different development stages of probably, in this case, flies. So you see the larvae, and they are very efficient to produce or use the proteins and the fat then for the later development stages. And I think we can use it. And this was my motivation, okay, to transform this experience from the lab, maybe then more to the industry. And when you have your personal motivation clear, then I think it's very, very important that you think about what is my product and what is my target market. At the very early stage, Bernd also mentioned that at the beginning, you should think about, okay, should I produce fresh larvae? Is my product the whole dried larvae? What is my target market for that? I'm more interested in designing insect products for the B2C sectors or for direct customer, or is more I'm more interested in the commodity market and more want to produce the insect protein meal to supply then this product to the feed industry. This is for us what's our goal. It's our approach. I think it's very important that you are clear on that. It's impossible, in my personal opinion, to do everything at the beginning and start all the products and to think, okay, I can produce for the feed industry and also for the food industry. I will develop own products. I will develop own approaches and marketing strategies. I think it's very complex, and in the beginning, when you start such a project, it should be clear what is your product, and is it more about the insect fat? Is it more about fertilizer, which is also a very interesting product itself, or maybe byproducts in, for example, chitin in this case. When you know what is your target market and when you exactly know what is my product, then I think it's it's not easy to answer the question, what is my species I want to work with? When you said, okay, I want to work with the insects, I want to get rid of maybe organic residues, I want to use a old building, I think insects is the technology I want to go with, then you should answer the question, okay, what is my species? Because back to the biology, insects are also very successful in terms of biodiversity, and there are many insect species, and as I said, there are many insect species are found or developed interesting solutions for a specific task or challenges or niches. So we're talking about black soldier fly, the mealworms, maybe grasshoppers, but there are so many species. and depending on the market, you should find the right species for you. And for us, for me, it was quite clear at the beginning due to the legislation to start with the black soldier fly. But in the future, we can also discuss maybe to change species, and you should think about your motivation was what is your goal in general. When this is for you clear, then you should think about the approach. And then is for me the step you should think, okay, how to reach your goals in terms of target market, product, and species. And for us, we were interested in close, or how to say that, more to have a circular economy, to use the potential of insects to use organic residues and to save the nutrition in that organic residues and bring it back to the value chain to the feed industry. So we said we need a decentralized modular insect technology. And a few years ago, we developed this because when you close to a food or feed producer and you have the organic residues, then it should be highly dependent on the location, because organic residues are characterized by a high water content, a low storability. So we were looking for a system which is scalable, easily to adapt to specific organic residues, and also we can easily scale up also to different locations, because in my personal opinion, it is that each insect facility will have has its own feed recipe depending on the substrate you use, and you should be flexible to adapt your system to a specific location. So we use this system here based on shipping containers to scale it up depending on the amount of organic residues and also on the space you have maybe on a specific site. And how we start this then? After you answer all the questions I mentioned, first of all, it's for me very important that you have a personal meeting, because you have your target market, your product, you should talk about customers, and when you start then this approach, you talk also then to equipment suppliers. And for me, it's very important to start with a personal meeting, because I think we are all here in a quite young industry. It's also about trust, and you should also visit the facilities and check if is something for you in terms of size, in terms of management, etc. Then you should analyze all the customer needs. So from our perspective, to talk about, okay, what is your location, what is your goals, what do you want to reach, and then adapt a business case based on a location. And also adapt then the plant system on the site. It's quite important, I think, due to the different insect species, a different target market, also to find to be technology open and to find the best system for your needs. And after the project definition, you could start then with the visualization, which is very important to define the concept layout. Also, then we developed for our system the feed recipes specific on a special site. Also, then to have the correct mass balance, which is very important in terms of finding the right equipment, and also know your costs and the capex. Develop the flow diagrams, etc. Finding the beneficial technology concept, as I said, and then you can start with the precise project plan. And with the precise project plan, this is also when we started with the timing. So when we said, okay, this is a good a timing for the entire project, which is, I think, very important for a successful project, and also define the responsibilities. And after that step, So we start with a communication with the local authorities in terms of legislation, permits, etc. And after that step, when the local authority said, okay, we will support this project, we know exactly what is our substrate. We know what is our mass balance, what equipment we want to use for that project. This is for us then the decision, do we want to invest in that project? And also that's then the point of no return, because then we start with the entire process of the final design, plan, technology, infrastructure, the entire project management control concept, getting the approvals and starting working on the manuals on the specific location. And which is from our experience when we built this plant here was to have the right timing, which means long delivery items should be ordered at the very beginning. Procurement coordination of the construction activities, because probably you should manage several companies in parallel. And we should then also the installation of the infrastructure, electricity, water, and with enough buffer, which is also important in my personal opinion. And then we start the installation of the plant technology, and we can start really with the rearing. The first insects maybe moved in that facility, and you can start the implementation, do all the quality checks, also in terms of the products. Is this possible to sell? Do you have a product in the end which can be consoled, and then also get all the contracts you need then. And after this step and for the time framing for the for our plant design, so we process between 20 and 40 tons per day of substrate. You need roundabout a timing of 8 to 1 year. But it's highly dependent, of course, of the location. If it's necessary, you want to use an old building or you want to build a new building, it's of course always very depending on the location. I hope I was not too fast, but I'm happy to discuss all the further questions in the end. I tried to give some experience and informations. What was our experience here close to Leipzig, and what is very crucial. And yeah, as I said in the beginning, for me, it's very important that the goal should be clear at the beginning. What is my target market? What is my product? And what I really want to process doing the production. Thank you.